I'd also like to thank those who invited me to come along and talk to you today, as if I'm quite honest, you guys are my perfect audience in terms of the people that we're trying to reach through the research that we've been focusing on here at Leeds Beckett University. So you guys are the influencers, and as practitioners and coaches, you're at the forefront of some of the development and activities that are so fundamental to our pursuit for clean sport. In a recent study that we did for Rugby Football Union, we looked into the supplementation of schoolboys in particular, aged 16 to 19, and we were ultimately looking at their influences, their sources of information and their experiences. And over the next 10 minutes, I want to highlight to you guys why you're coaching a vulnerable group at risk of committing an anti-doping rule violation, and I want to offer ways in which that you can support them as well. So I'm going to share with you a quote that one of the athletes actually said to us, and hopefully you can all kind of resonate a little bit with this. It's almost been like, oh, where can I read it from, sorry? It's almost been like normalised in my age group now, using protein shakes, especially in sports like rugby. Everyone does it. So it's almost become cool now to take a protein shake, and I'm sure we've observed this massive trend come over us where we're seeing young boys in particular leaving the gym and shaking their protein shake. I also want to highlight another quote I'm going to share with you, and I think this illustrates one of the issues that we face as practitioners and athlete support personnel. I think there's quite a culture that you see when you start going to the gym, and you start seeing a lot of guys going to the gym. They start to think that if you do weights and take protein shakes, they will get bigger, and they don't think about the specific weights, and they don't think about the specific type of training that they're doing. They don't think, and they don't know, and they don't think about, and they also don't actually think about why they are taking these protein shakes. It's just sort of a sudden reflex reaction when they start going to the gym. So from a number of those that we spoke to, when you go to the gym, you take a protein shake, that's just what you do. But from the research that we've done, they don't necessarily know what they're doing or why they're doing it in regards to specific weights that they need to be training at, their supplementation and food first approach as well. So for me, that question why, well, why are you doing that, is really important for me, and I think as practitioners we need to start asking that question why, and that should be at the heart of our prevention programmes moving forward. Interestingly, when we spoke to a young boy only a year ago, here's another example of the challenge that we face as a profession and as a wider sports and exercise community. I look online for reviews to see if there's any side effects to pre-workouts. There's some reviews online, like C4, people say you get the shakes and the tingles for your arms. So if they say that, I stay away from those sort of pre-workouts. I just go through forums and just see what people say about it, about the product, and see if there's a review on YouTube or something, and see what they say. And if it gives it the green light, so that's if YouTube gives it the green light, they just go ahead with it and see if it works. If it doesn't, or I don't feel right, I just stop, sell it on to someone who's stupid enough to take it. So our awareness of where these young people are going to get their sources of information is absolutely frightening, and there's also this, it illustrates their kind of perception of expertise, but we know the source of information is the internet, and we know that to be a risky approach due to the inaccurate and misguided information that is available on the web. So as practitioners, we've also got that need to lobby against these celebrities that are on YouTube, and I think there's something really challenging that we have to all kind of consider as we move forward. So the issue with the supplement industry is the fact that it's not regulated like the pharmaceutical industry, so manufacturers can, in fact, intentionally or unintentionally put a banned substance into a product, and the content of a product can actually vary from batch to batch as well. And what we're seeing now is that the manufacturers are being a little bit crafty, and they're actually naming substances differently to how they're named on the prohibited list. So this makes it really difficult for those that are needing to assess the ingredients list of supplements. So what I'm saying is there is a risk of supplements being contaminated during the manufacturing process, and what we're seeing now is that 1 in 5 that haven't been through a risk minimization process are contained to be contaminated. So what this tells us is that if your players do choose to take supplements, they are at risk of committing an anti-doping rule violation, but beyond that they're also at risk of putting health consequences as well, and the links to ill health from these banned substances has been evidenced. So this is one product or few unfortunately, that was found to contain DMA, which is methohexylamine, which is a stimulant prohibited in competition. And we know from the research that we've done with our survey that a small percentage of those young players were in fact using these pre-workouts. And these are unfortunately still available on the shelves and more are popping up as we go through. And they are the pre-workouts in particular are the reason why many athletes have fallen foul of the anti-doping rules. So coaches and practitioners, please be vigilant of any players using these pre-workouts, particularly ones that look like this, which have very bold advertising claims around performance enhancement. So despite the risk associated with contamination, in a survey that we did, only 31% acknowledged that a supplement could contain a bad substance and 27% were unsure. Similarly, 38 believed that UK anti-doping had a list of supplements that were 100% guaranteed from a free banned substance. So again, this really highlights the naivety around the risk to supplementation. But it's interesting because how can we expect them to know about the risk if they haven't actually been told about it? So a lot of these players had never received any anti-doping education despite taking supplements. So my question to you guys is, were you aware and up to date with the level of risk, and thinking forward, how can we increase the reach of our messaging? When considering to take a supplement, please get your players into the habit of following this decision tree. So firstly, is it proven to directly improve health and sports performance? Is there a strong evidence base? Is the product lacking in sufficient foods? There's a need to take it. Have you checked the supplement for the ingredients list for any banned substance, and has that product been batch tested? And if your players can't answer those questions, are they working with people that can help them answer those questions? And if following on for those conversations, if the answer is no to any false statements, then the message is do not use. But also, if you are working with players who are already taking supplements, please be encouraging they are making the necessary decisions advocated by this decision tree here. Because if we are to protect our players, this has to be our priority. So Informed Sport was that minimization process that I referred to, and this is a company that tests sports supplements for banned substances that are listed on the prohibited list by WADA. So companies can register their products with Informed Sport, and each batch will be tested prior to release. But please be aware that not all some supplement companies will have their entire product range listed on Informed Sport, and also it is a risk minimization process, so there's still no 100% guarantee that a supplement will not contain a banned substance. And this is because the labs that Informed Sport use can't actually test, or don't actually test, for all of the substances that are listed on WADA. So if we make sure we do our research and make sure it's thorough, we can, and using through this process, we can reduce the risk of inadvertent doping. We also have to recognise that it's not just a simple case of telling our players not to take supplements, as we know they're doing it, and that's probably not the most effective way. But we need to be providing them with the skills that means they don't have to resort to a quick fix approach through supplementation. So firstly, that's emphasising the food first approach. That's making sure that the players are well equipped to get the maximisation out of their training session, so ensuring that they have an evidence-informed S&C programme. A protein shake is not a quick fix to get bigger and stronger. And also we need to raise their awareness of the risk and provide them with the tools necessary to assess the products that they are taking, and that's through increasing our reach of education. So yes, we need to influence the individual, but we also need to be creating an environment that enables the individual to perform that behaviour, and that's through a much more multidisciplinary way. Before I finish up, I'd like just you guys recognise the role that you play. Please consider the climate that you are creating. If we're emphasising that the players need to get bigger, quicker, and then consider the skills that they might need to help them facilitate that. And also, if you are got players that are using supplements, please be encouraging them and prompting and priming them to check the products that they are taking and questioning why they are taking it. And please do not encourage supplements that have not been batch tested. I encourage all athlete support personnel to undertake UCAD's advisor course, which is an online course you can find on their website. Also, Leeds Beckett University are looking for ways in which they can support coaches through some clean sport interventions, and they will be running a project over in the summer, so please look out for correspondence from Leeds Beckett University, as we'll be asking for you to participate in the future. Thank you all very much for listening. I hope you found that interesting and insightful. If you have any questions on what was covered today, more than happy to answer questions at the end. But for now, I believe I'm passing over to Kevin. Right.